All greetings, dear friends. On my channel I launch a project called Tutorial in Real Flight Simulator. Today we will consider 4 points: ground handling of the aircraft, communication with the dispatch service, departure from the gate, starting the engines. And so the first point, for the plane to successfully fly from point A to point B, it is necessary how to prepare. Airliners have several levels of maintenance, but most of all the winged machine is inspected before every takeoff and landing. Welcome to Domodedovo Airport. Our plane is in a cold dark state, that is, completely turned off. Now let's take a look at the procedure for preparing an airplane for departure. First of all, the aircraft commander inspects the aircraft. For this you need to go to the Ground Systems tab and go to the lower window and click on the button Exterior Inspection. For the inspection of the aircraft, a so-called bypass route has been drawn up. This is a map of the route along which the aircraft commander must go in order not to lose sight of anything. First of all, he looks for any noticeable damage. Then we inspect the engine blades. Next, we move on to inspect the lower part of the left wing. We pay special attention to the landing gear. The aircraft experiences the strongest overloads during takeoff and landing, and this is especially true of its landing gear. Then we inspect the tail plating, and check if there is any damage. You probably wonder what is APU. I answer. APU is an auxiliary power unit. An aircraft APU is usually a relatively small gas turbine engine used to generate electricity. Further, our plane needs to be provided with electricity. For this, we need to call the ground power unit. It is also called ground power unity. To do this, go to the Ground Systems tab and click on this button. As we see, electrical energy began to flow into the plane. Then go to the Aircraft Systems tab and turn on the navigation lights. And so it's time to turn on the Auxiliary Power Unit APU, which is located at the rear of the aircraft. To do this, also go to the Aircraft Systems tab and click on APU. Ground power supply is no longer needed. It's time to connect the aircraft to the ACU aircraft air conditioning system. The air conditioning system of the aircraft is an onboard life support system and is designed to maintain the temperature and air pressure in the pressurized cabin of the aircraft at a level that allows for the normal life of passengers and crew. Before flights of planes is naturally necessary to refuel. Iron Bird Pretty Prozhorleva to fly to examples from Moscow to Sochi. It took her 6 tons of fuel, and their accuracy can say pharmacy, on the plane to pour enough fuel to its will last until end of the flight and the engine stalled on floor way. Therefore the word, approximate, is not used in principle here. In order to refuel the plane, go to the Ground Systems tab and click on Fuel Truck. To pour the necessary fuel into the plane, you need to hold down the fuel button and gently pull up with your finger. Great. Our plane is refueled. We are ready to take passengers on board. In order to call the ladder and the cart with luggage, you need to press these two buttons. In order to call the ladder and the cart with luggage, you need to press these two buttons. Be going to the Aircraft Systems tab in the first window before boarding passengers. Be sure to turn on the two warning seat belts and no smoking. So we come to the second point, which is called communication with the dispatch service. After all passengers are in their seats and all luggage is loaded into the cargo hold of the aircraft, contacting the dispatcher from the ground and requesting information on departure.
Ground, good day.
Good day, go ahead.
At parking, information, X-ray, read to copy.
You are cleared to Uniform Lima, India, via Whiskey Tango 1-4 Whiskey Transition, Bravo, Echo, Lima 1 Delta, 4,000 feet. Contact when ready to start.
Cleared to Uniform Lima, India, via Whiskey Tango 1-4 Whiskey Transition, Bravo, Echo, Lima 1 Delta, 4,000 feet. When ready to start.
Redback is correct.
Next, we advertise boarding to passengers. In order to do this on behalf of a steward or stewardess, you need to go to the Passengers tab and press the right crew button, then go to the Departure tab.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. If you haven't already done so, please stow your carry-on luggage underneath the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. And also make sure your seat back and folding trays are in their full upright position. If you are seated next to an emergency exit, please read carefully the special instructions card located by your seat. If you do not wish to perform the functions described in the event of an emergency, please ask a flight attendant to reseat you. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is prohibited on the entire aircraft, including the lavatories. Tampering with, disabling or destroying the lavatory smoke detectors is prohibited by law. If you have any questions about our flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight attendants. Thank you.
Then we roll back all the remaining equipment from the plane. We give an announcement to passengers about closing doors.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your chief flight attendant. On behalf of our captain and the entire crew, welcome aboard. At this time, make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position and that your seat belt is correctly fastened. Also, your portable electronic devices must be set to airplane mode until an announcement is made upon arrival. Thank you.
Warn the crew to prepare the doors for takeoff.
Cabin crew, prepare doors for departure and crosscheck.
And so it's time to move on to the third point, departure from the gate. First of all, we request a pushback from the dispatcher and turn on the flashing beacons.
Ground, request pushback.
Pushback approved at own discretion.
In order to turn on the flashing beacons, you need to go to the Aircraft Systems tab and go to the Lights window and click on this button. Their task is help to avoid collision with other aircraft. These lights are activated when the engines start, and stay on during the flight. They also signal to ground personnel that power plants are active. In order to start towing, go to the Ground Systems tab and in the first window click on this button.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the crew, we request your full attention as the flight attendants demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. Take a minute to locate the exit closest to you. Note that the nearest exit may be behind you. Count the number of rows to this exit. Should the cabin experience sudden pressure loss, stay calm and listen for instructions from the cabin crew. Oxygen masks will drop down from above your seat. Place the mask over your mouth and nose, like this. Pull the strap to tighten it. If you are traveling with children, make sure that your own mask is on first before helping your children. In the unlikely event of an emergency landing and evacuation, leave your carry-on items behind. Life rafts are located below your seats and emergency lighting will lead you to your closest exit and slide. We ask that you make sure that all carry-on luggage is stowed away safely during the flight. While we wait for takeoff, please take a moment to review the safety data card in the seat pocket in front of you.
So we towed from to the taxiway we needed. It's time to move on to the final fourth point, starting the engines. And so we first need to ask the dispatcher for permission to start the engines.
Ground. Request startup.
Startup approved. Report when ready to taxi.
Startup approved. Call you back when ready to taxi.
After obtaining permission, we start the second engine, and then the first engine. In order to start the engines, go to the Aircraft Systems tab, then go to the second window and start the second engine. After fully starting the second engine, we proceed to starting the first engine. After all engines are fully started, the auxiliary power unit can be turned off. Well, that's all dear friends. I really hope that this first video tutorial will be of use to you. Especially for you, I tried very hard to tell in more detail and show all the important points. In fact, this video lesson took a lot of time and all in order for you to fly with pleasure and be confident in yourself. Thank you for watching. I think I deserve my like. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because it is your subscription and your likes that motivates me to make more and more cool content. Good luck, young pilots.